So let's talk about the Hasselblad. This is a very beautiful and deluxe thing. I never ever thought I'd have one, and it's quite a story as to how I got it. So there's Lady Justice up there. There's a reason why we're here with the Hasselblad. Where are we? Well, we're at the Supreme Court. I went and spoke last year for the justices of the Supreme Court as part of they have an annual conference. They were talking about Indigenous issues and terrorism, and I was there to lighten the mood a little bit. And so I talked about my passion for Melbourne and my passion for photography. At the end, one of the justices came up to me and said, I have a beautiful Hasselblad camera and I don't really know what to do with it. I joked, of course, me being the joking type, and said, how about we swap one of my cameras, not worth quite so much, for your camera? And he nodded and he went, And then 3 weeks later, I got an email. So this email arrives. It carefully outlines how for camera, cash, tuition, and my firstborn, okay, I'm joking, not my firstborn, we would be able to cut a deal for me to get this little beauty. So this is how I happened to come by this beautiful medium format digital 60 megapixel Hasselblad, all the way from, where do they come from again? Denmark. See, I have to read it on the bottom, all the way from Denmark. The damn thing is a brick. I reckon it weighs exactly the same as a brick. Let me tell you a little bit about the specs of the Hasselblad. I've got two lenses, a 80mm and a 24mm, but that doesn't equate to 35mm because the sensor's bigger. Like when a sensor's smaller on a crop sensor camera, the millage doesn't add up to the same thing. So 80mm is equivalent to about 50mm and 24 is equivalent to about 14. So this is a super wide angle lens, which I'll show you what this shot looks like. Those two lenses came with the camera as part of the deal, and I later on found out that just this lens alone is worth $8,000 to $9,000 here in Australia. Just this lens, this beautiful wide angle lens, which is crazy. I never would have been able to get one if I'd bought one new. So this lens is amazing, but one thing I don't really understand about it is it's really expensive, but its minimum aperture is only 4.8, which is quite high. So it means it's not what we call a fast lens, and you need a lot of light to work with it, which is quite frustrating. Whereas the 80mm is a 2.8. That's quite useful and a very good lens. And I mean, look, this is a very good lens, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't work so well in the dark. So here is a gratuitous scene of camera porn. Lenses, go around here a little bit, and we see beautiful Leicas. This is total camera porn right here. This is as epic as it gets. Oh, hello, check this out. This is the 500mm lens from Nikon. It's so expensive, there's no price. The Hasselblad has a 60 megapixel digital back, which is that part there. We've got the mirror box, which is in the middle. Now, it only goes up to 800 ISO, which is kind of not that usable, because this is not a new one. This is a couple of years old, this one. This stopped being current about 5 years ago. So that's a bit prohibitive compared to my normal cameras, but I've become used to it. It just means I've brought the tripod out, which I quite like. Shutter speeds don't go that high either. Maximum shutter speed is 800, I think. So again, if it gets bright, you've got to turn up your aperture or start using neutral density filters. So it's a really different way of working, and I'm really quite enjoying slowing down, taking less photos, and thinking about things a bit harder, which is what this sort of camera makes you do. What does it make you do? You could go fast, but it's actually quite a lot of fun to be more meticulous about it. When does the Hasselblad come into play? Right now, I still pretty much haven't used it for a professional gig. I've only been working with it for about 9 or 10 months. And the ergonomics and speed lens choices of my Nikon D810 kits is just more useful. But there will be a time where I bring this out. It's just got to be for the right client, for the right job. Most people just don't need this level of quality and they don't really want to pay for it either. So is a camera like this for you? It's a difficult question. I'm still working out if it's a camera for me. But let's have a look at some of the shots I've taken, shall we? The amazing thing about this camera is, g'day gents, the quality, the picture quality is out of this world. It's probably 2 times my next closest camera. And so all of that is worth it just for dynamic range. Just luscious. It's hard to tell until you kind of see them. They're luscious and gorgeous. So come and see some real ones in the flesh that we've printed. They look amazing. So the Hasselblad, I love it. I'm really excited about it. And there's obviously times when I can use it and times where it's not really practical. I really look forward to exploring it more and sharing more adventures and images with everybody. And here's just a little ad for myself, although perhaps the whole thing is an ad for myself. But remember, here we are at Block Place, and right now until Christmas we have our pop-up. And at the pop-up store you can get everything me. Well, kind of me. So here's our sign. So come on down and come on up, if you know what I mean. Come on up the big staircase. Yeah, look, up there. Got to go all the way to the top. Look forward to seeing you. Bye.